comeback? I mean, obviously you're dealing with some jet lag issues, and did it just take you a while to get into the match for that reason, or other things going on?
Well, it's obviously it's a very tough turnaround coming from Monte Carlo and playing here, and it actually was tough because I wanted to play at night, and I made a request to play at night because it's very hot here, and just kind of getting used to the conditions in 48 hours was it's a very difficult thing to do. And so obviously I was very physically tired, but I'm not sure why they didn't. I asked the supervisor to let me play at night, and he didn't help me out at all, so I had to play in the heat of the day.
At the end of the day, whose decision is that?
It's the supervisor, I think, and I think that it was tough, and he put me in a tough position. But I was very once I saw the schedule and I realized he didn't help me at all. I just decided, there's nothing you can do at this point. You got to go down and just try to compete and do your best, and that's what happened. I did a very good job of staying focused after not starting as well as I would have liked to, and getting down an early break. And ultimately, it was another great performance for me mentally to win a match. That's one of the biggest things that I started with this year, working on winning matches, even when I wasn't feeling physically 100% or mentally perfect out there. So I did a good job of that.
Which general question about the tournament and what you really like about this tournament, and what brings you here, and played in this before?
Well, it all starts with a great staff. Van Barry is a great guy, and I've known him for a couple of years. I actually stayed in his house the first year I came here, like 4 years ago, one night, and I love the tournament director, and I love the people behind the tournament. It's very friendly, and they put together a great event. And then also the crowd support, obviously with it being close to where I'm from, they're very much behind me, and I really appreciate that. And it's just it's a very nice, homely feeling to play here, and I really enjoy it.
Ryan, your Davis Cup teammate, the guy with the big feet, said yesterday that the way the game is played today at the highest levels, that he doesn't think teenagers are really ready to deal with it. Needless to say, the way you chose to win this match today would fly in the face of his thought process. Do you respectfully disagree with that?
I'm not going to be a teenager in a month.
There you go.
That could be something there. I would definitely agree that it's a lot more difficult, and I think that John, there's a difference between being in these tournaments and being ranked 60 in the world, which is where I am, or 65 in the world, which is where I am now, and being a top 10 player, which is John's caliber. And I think his point behind his statement is just simply saying that it's a very tough physical game now, and the way the game's played, it's going to it takes longer to come into your own and mature into just the realm of professional tennis. And I would definitely agree with him that it's a lot more difficult, but I don't think it's impossible. And I'm going to do my best to in the next month and try to make a run. And
back in the day, Pete Andre, Bjorn Borg, Michael Chang all won majors 17, 18, 19 years old, but very different style of play.
Well, you've got a few factors that come into play. One of them is the fact that guys are able to sustain their prime for a lot longer because of the new knowledge we have as far as physical fitness and nutrition goes. So you have a guy like Federer who's sustaining his maximum level for 6-7 years at a time. Also, they've slowed down the court speed. A lot of the hard courts are a lot slower, the ball is a lot slower. Longer points, longer matches makes it more physical, and the more physically strong you are, obviously, you're 24, 25 years old, you're going to be more physically strong than a 17-year-old who weighed 160 pounds when 17. To put together back-to-back matches at that age is just very difficult because you wake up and it's tough. It's just, there's no other way to put it. It's a very tough physical thing. You don't have guys serving balling where you're having 1-2 shot points. Every point is a battle. Every shot is a very physical approach to it. So
sort of summed up by the Australian Open final, right?
Absolutely.
That kind of capsulizes.
Absolutely. And that's just the way it is. You have to deal with it. It's the same for everyone, and I'm certainly trying to play my game to a style that will best give me success.
You've gotten pretty strong, though. I mean, you're you're not a big guy, but what do you weigh now?
180, 185. I want to, I'd like to stay around 180, 185. That's where I'd like to be. Obviously, I put on some muscle.
Right, no, that's what I'm talking, that's the kind of weight that he's at.
That's the kind of weight you want, but you want it to be very lean, strong muscle, which is where the next step for me is, and that's going to come in nutrition. I made the commitment to working on, physical fitness in the gym, on the track, and all that stuff, etc. But until you put the nutrition side in it, you're going to have excess weight. So my plan is to have a good enough nutritional diet where I'm not carrying any excess weight, and every part of me is strong and good, lean muscle, and that's the goal.
At 15, your serve was a point starter, and now seems to be a point ender. I mean, it's turned into a real weapon.
Absolutely. I've gotten to a point where I can use it a day like today. I wasn't physically as fresh as I would have liked, but it carried me. I was able to keep some points short, especially there in the second set. You obviously catch second wins and third wins just based on momentum, crowd, whatever it may be, all the X factors that go into tennis. But my serve was a starter for me. It kept me in there whenever I wasn't feeling great, and then I was able to sneak out a break and turn some things around.
And you cracked those last two. I mean, how much of that was adrenaline, and how much was you just said let's end it right now? Was that
I thought going into that game I was trying to approach it with a pitcher-like mentality where I wanted to. And what I mean by that is a pitcher will have a bat he's facing. He'll start and he'll say, okay, this guy doesn't like the ball inside, so we're gonna go two inside, and then when we get him thinking we're going inside, we're gonna break one down and away. And so that was kind of the way I was trying to approach that game, certainly not the match. I wanted to make sure I hit my spot, and I got to 30 all, and I kind of set it up where I knew he would be leaning wide because I've been going wide on the big points, and so I started. I gave him a toss that leaned wide, and then I popped it on the tee, and then after that, the last second one, I was just hitting the gas pedal. I just said, let's take a crack at it.
Go the other way too.
Yeah, exactly. Worst case scenario, I would hit a second serve and hit a kicker wide and start the point. So that was my thought on that.
What's the hardest you served officially? I think it looked like a 135 was your.
I think I had a 136 today at some point. I think so. Not that I know that. I probably shouldn't know that. But I've hit it 142 at Indian Wells. That's probably the biggest one I've hit.
Just this year.
That was last year, and this year I hit it 141 Indian Wells. So I can put some gas behind it. It's just I've got to be able to make sure that the percentage stays up too. That's the big thing.
What have the Davis Cup experiences done for you?
It's starting with Captain Courier and the guys on the team. We have a great captain, classy leader. We have a great team, a very strong, a very close team of good guys. You don't have anyone. We can all get along great. We all have a great team atmosphere. You're sitting on the sideline and you really feel the adrenaline and the energy because you're invested in every match, even the matches you're not playing. And whenever you're playing, you feel that energy behind you. And so there's a no quit, a very prideful. We're playing for the United States of America, and this is who we play for. We play for our team, we play for our captain, and everyone behind us that is supporting U.S. tennis. And so everyone takes just a very serious approach to that.
In a regular tennis tournament, you've probably been disappointed with 2 losses. Does the team thing override it in Davis Cup?
It's different. That last match was
It didn't matter.
I mean, it's a dead rubber match. Simone, who's typically a grinder, was swinging about as free as Roger inside the court, and he was taking some balls and just cracking them, and kind of out of nowhere. So it was tough, But he played really well. He made it a very tough match, and it's tough after you clinch too to come back and play, because it's such an emotional high from winning an away tie like that to have to go out and just play on the spot. And that's not to make excuses. I mean, he played great, but it was a tough turnaround. Obviously, I was very disappointed that I didn't come through and win against Tsonga, and I know it's a tough match on the road, but I take a lot of pride in having the belief that I can win that match, and I was disappointed not to. I didn't have to go back out and play a live fifth because John played fantastic, but I would have been ready, and I would have put it all on the line just like I will every time.
You were a last-minute addition to the team after Marty's deal. Can you talk us through a little bit about that, how that all came down, and your thought process as you're frantically trying to get on a plane?
Well, it's kind of a two-sided situation because Marty's a close friend of mine. He's been a mentor in a way to me, and he's been someone that I have a lot of respect for. And I was first concerned for Marty because I knew it had to be something pretty serious to not make him go to Davis Cup. He takes a lot of pride in Davis Cup, just like everyone else on the team does. And so once I found out he was going to be okay and everything was going to be fine, I was immediately excited to be on the team and have the opportunity and have the chance to step up. And I was thinking, this is going to be my time to step up to the team. And the team won. I wasn't a winner over there, but the team was. I'd like to think they contributed into the preparation and the hard work that we put over there.
Where were you got the phone call at home?
I was on the way back from the golf course.
And planning, I guess, to come. What were you going to do? You would have probably been here on the weekend.
I was leaving. I got the call on Friday night. I was supposed to leave on Saturday night to go to Austin and start training. And I was going to train in Austin and come over here after that. And I called Grant, my coach, right away and said, "Hey, not going to make it to Austin tomorrow." So,
never any doubt about you coming to this tournament?
Never any doubt. I knew I was going to come from the beginning, and we briefly spoke and said, "Do you think it's too quick of a turnaround?" And I said, "No, I love playing in Houston. It's like playing in my backyard. It's a good opportunity." And I was very adamant that I could mentally battle through it until I was physically fresh enough to feel 100%, and I was able to.
Get back with Robert Rich, and is this something you'll talk to him about it later, about just to find out what his thought process was?
Sorry?
Why they didn't work with you on the schedule? Well, that's something you pursue, or are you just going to water under the bridge?
There's nothing you can do. It didn't have anything to do with Van Berry, because I didn't speak to Van about it.
I mean, man, it's probably Brian. Did Brian supervise?
It could have been Brian. It could have been. I talked to Ken Darby about it, and I was pretty disappointed with the lack of cooperation. Even the conversation that I had with him, it wasn't the nicest conversation I ever had with him. I was very polite and respectful, and asked to have a later start. And I just, at that point, there's nothing you can do. You put in the request. I was hoping that playing here in Texas and kind of where it all started for me, I'd be able to get a later time. But ultimately, I'm through the second round, and that's what counts. And I'm excited to be through.
Ryan,
Thanks.
you're 0-12 against the top 10 players. That's your record right now. Is that stat by itself just a constant motivator for you to get that and improve as a player?
Obviously, it takes time to build up to be able to have wins like that. Those guys are in the top 10 for a reason. I'd like to think I'm ready to have a breakthrough win at that level, but with that being said, it's not easy. The other guys are playing as well. And, I think that I've put in the work and I've put in the time to be able to have a win like that, but so is that guy, whoever maybe that I'm playing. So, it could happen, it could happen Friday or whenever, if I get through against Knutson and have the chance to play Marty. I'd like to think it could happen then. It could happen whenever, but
Right.
I'm ready for it to happen.
Do you feel like you can make a big enough push over the next few months to get your ranking high enough to get a shot at the Olympics?
I think so. I think I'm pretty close. I would like to think I'm within 5. I'm 65 right now. That then should put me maybe 62, 63. And I think you have to be top 60, maybe top 55 to get in. And I don't have any big points coming off until Wimbledon, so I would like to think that I'll have a very good chance.